I want to come back really quick. You brought up the wage gap. Let's see, wait. Hold on. You brought up the wage gap. You're saying, well, should be paid equally in, if you're doing the same job. Is that correct? So
Yeah.
And do you believe that there is a gender wage gap? Since you brought it up into the mic.
I mean, that's what we've been taught in school.
Then it must be true, right?
That's what you've been taught in school. Okay, so, shoot, I missed my notes on the specific thing with the wage gap. This is kind of an interesting stat that we found out recently. So what are your thoughts on, for example, they actually found that Asian women out-earn white men. Do you subscribe to that wage gap?
I don't know.
Nick, could you pull up the data on that? So median weekly earnings of full-time workers, white men versus Asian women. So you have white men, Asian women there. Recently Asian women, you guys are killing it. Good job, Maddie. Good job, Maddie, back there.
Why is that?
You guys are killing it.
Do we know why?
Good for you guys. Cool. Different, I don't know.
Okay.
Is it a skill issue? Something like this?
I don't know, man. But is this perhaps evidence of Asian women oppressing white men? I think that's what it is.
Oh my God.
I think Asian women are oppressing white, I'm kidding, men.
Or just working harder.
Could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes merit explains a lot of this.
Almost all the time.
Oh, I remember my question.
I agree with you.
Sports. So, when it comes to basketball, soccer, there's been a bunch of articles on this. Do you think that women in sports should be paid the same as the men in sports? So men's basketball, women's basketball. I want to start with you. I'll open it up to the rest of the panel.
I mean, I think that generally the men's sports are watched more, so I think it would make sense that they would get paid more because they have more views and
Anybody want to?
sponsorships.
I agree with that. I mean,
Anyone object to the differential payment though in sports? Should it be equal in sports? Should it be equal?
Check them out.
Female basketball players should be paid the same as male basketball
It's
players?
like the most based panel ever.
Well,
You're talking about pro sports, not like the Title IX stuff in colleges and spending
professional
on sports.
sports.
Okay.
Professional sports, yeah.
let's say where I grew up in San Antonio. I mean, we had the Spurs.
You don't have thoughts on this?
No,
No
I feel
thoughts?
like it's equal. Yeah, that's fair. If men's
No, but
sports
so
are watched a lot
women
more
don't
than-
earn as much
Yeah,
as
that's
men
fair.
do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Reasonable. All right. And by the way, JSR, I'll just quickly adjust your message that came through. By the way, I've just paused them temporarily really quick just to get through a few things. I'll let a few of them come in. JSR, yes, the scene from Saving Private Ryan, absolutely excellent. Also, All Quiet on the Western Front, it's available on Netflix. Strongly encourage you guys to watch that. It kind of shows the just savagery and brutality of warfare. Okay, we hit that. We've hit the draft stuff. Actually, really quick on the draft stuff, Charlie, I got to push back here against you a little bit here. I'm in favor, Charlie, of women being drafted. Now, here's why, Charlie. First off, actually, that just occurred to me, the whole well, then they would just get pregnant.
The fertility thing.
They'd just go and get pregnant to avoid deployment. Service guarantees citizenship. That's the other thing. And then also, I say frontline combat too. Soften them up a little bit. Then when the men come in, soften up the enemy. So send the women first,
Right.
and then
So,
they
distract, yeah.
soften them up,
Like
and then
Jesus.
the guys can come in and finish the job.
Right, like a shield. Yeah.
Do you concur?
To use women as human shields?
No,
for
not as
others
human shields.
As a stupid war?
No.
Yeah.
But throw them in, soften them up a little bit.
Oh, throw them forward as
as the combat.
What are we
And
supposed
then-
to do?
and then,
Flirt with them? Stop them
we
from
can come in and take
attacking?
all the credit.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure I'm
Not-
on board for that.
Okay.
They do use women as
think it
honeypots.
over.
That
Think it
does
over.
exist.
Okay, so I did want to ask, I don't know why I wrote this down. I wrote down capitalism for some reason. Just really quick, is everybody in favor of capitalism, or would you prefer some other?
I mean, it creates problems the over usage of adult content, for example. I think that's a product of capitalism, and
So there would be no OnlyFans if we were communist or whatever?
I think they're probably not.
Charlie,
There's probably still going to be some
it's pretty
runaround.
bad. Maybe
from
we
that.
should-
But I mean, no,
You
that
think we
doesn't
should
mean
go
that.
communist?
No, one doesn't negate the other.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
still, yeah.
So, in favor of, I don't know why I wrote this down, but okay, in favor of capitalism, or would you prefer like socialism, communism?
Capitalism is okay.
Okay.
I say it's fuck capitalism, actually, but I also, that's the only option we have at the moment. I'm not for socialist or communism or any of that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So there, you acknowledge that there's issues within capitalism, but despite those issues, it is currently the best system that we have.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't really have an opinion.
So if, let's say we were communist, you would not be able to, if it was like, you wouldn't be able to like dye your hair blonde. If it was
How do you know my
communist.
hair's dyed?
What's that?
How do you know my hair's dyed?
Just a guess, just a hunch, you know?
Oh, so like, can you just define it then? So that
Hair dye?
No,
Or
like
define what?
yeah.
I'm gonna defer.
What
to
is communism?
Charlie Kirk here.
I'm not saying this.
Or
Do they
like,
do
why
they
did
do they
he, like,
do they
bring
teach
up-
communism in college anymore?
Or like, I'm just saying, like, why do you bring up me being blonde?
Well,
Or,
he,
like,
wa- he
dye
was
my
he
hair.
was making a tongue-in-cheek point of saying that in communism it's total control of one's life, totalitarianism. So you can get stupid and arbitrary rules like that. In
You probably
communist,
wouldn't be able to buy hair dye.
yeah, communist dictatorships. Yeah,
Maybe they prioritize that. I don't know.
maybe.
Here, just show of hands. Anybody against capitalism? So I'll just move it along.
I think total unfettered capitalism is a little brutal. That's why we have, antitrust laws and some things to regulate when
Sure.
it's completely unfettered. But for sure, I'm going to get it wrong, but there's somebody famous who said it's a terrible system, but better than all the others, right?
Sure. Okay, I think that's nobody. I'll let a couple of these chats come in. They're going to come in just a second. Then I want to come back to that clip we saw because we didn't really get a full reaction to it. Then we have a couple things other things we need to react to. Sorry, guys, we're just letting a few of these come in, and I'm going to shoot. Sorry, guys, we're on a delay here. By the way, guys, Charlie's book.
Oh,
Right-Wing
it's
Revolution.
going great. You guys can all get a
Abbey
copy.
donated
Oh, here we go.
$300.
Thank you, Doc.
Bangs Jr. There are more women than men doctors in primary care, and there is a specialty exclusively devoted to women's health. Men do not. How are women patients underserved? Cheers, Charlie.
Do you want to address that really quick? How are female patients underserved?
I don't feel like addressing that right now. We've already moved way past that.
Do you want to add like one little thing?
I'm good.
I'll ask you a question. We're not going to debate it, at least now anyways. Do you think that part of your position on that has to do with abortion rights?
Yeah,
Okay.
slightly, yeah.
Okay, I'll write that down perhaps if time permitting. We'll get to that in a bit. Joe Murphy, hold on, where was the other one? Sorry guys, a couple of these chats are coming in. I'm going to read them and then we'll get back to the reaction to that clip that we pulled up. Kirk, can you make the same argument about equal pay about any other institution but OnlyFans?
Yeah, healthcare.
Okay,
Female nurses earn more than male nurses.
thank
And
you.
there are also more female nurses than male nurses.
All right.
And also teaching as well, elementary school teaching. There's also more women that are OBGYNs than men, OBGYNs.